thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm Dawn and I'm a doctor working in England, and alongside this I have my own blog called diariesofaDoctor.com. Today's vlog has its own accompanying blog post, and although it's a little bit off-piste, it's nonetheless important, so I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please give it a like and leave a comment down below. Currently, I've just moved since my last video, so I've had a lot going on over the past month, so hence the lack of content. And I've just moved jobs as well, so I'm on paediatrics now, which is very different and I am enjoying it. I've just posted a post about how social media is ruining our lives, and I know it's slightly off the medical topic, but in my opinion it affects all of us. It affects our mental health and well-being, and also I think a lot of the things talked about are to do with sociology, psychology, mental health, and to be honest they're all to do with medicine anyway. I also want to say here that this is a big spoiler alert, because this post and video is about The Social Dilemma, which is a new Netflix documentary. I think it's about 2 hours long, so it's basically a film. So if you're wanting to watch that, then stop this video now and watch that first, because I'm gonna be talking a lot about what they've talked about in the show. So I just wanted to give you guys an outline about what I'm going to discuss, and I'll leave the timestamps in the description below, so if you have a particular part that you want to go to, then that's easily found. And I hope that this gives you some kind of clarity about what I'm going to discuss. So this all came about when I was ironically sitting on a Friday night with no social events to attend, because, you know, we're in a pandemic and nobody's socialising. And I was like, what shall I do with my evening? And I thought, Netflix. So I did a kind of an alternative Netflix and chill. And what I mean by that is the chill refers to how this programme made me feel. One of the quotes that really stood out to me was by Tristan Harris, he's one of the sort of leads of, I've forgotten what it's called now, Humane Technology Movement or something like that. I'll post it here. And he said, and I'll quote this word for word, "It feels like the world is going crazy. You have to ask yourself, is this normal? Or have we all fallen under some kind of spell?" Imagine that in an American accent with some eerie music in the background, and that's basically what he said. And as I just said, I've moved jobs now, so I'm on paediatrics, which has in itself shown me the youth of today, because obviously I don't have much interaction with them. I've just come from a GP practice where the demographic was mainly elderly people. It really saddens me and it really hit home, and I think that's why this programme really hit me hard, was because I'm seeing it in the next generation. I'm seeing the mental health effects, the physical health effects, and the social effects, behavioural effects, everything on teenagers and children. It worries me slightly how they're gonna interact with the world and the mental health of this next generation to come. I've fallen victim to it myself, and I'm sure most of the people watching this now will also see that they've fallen victim to it too, and we haven't realised. And the thing that we've fallen victim to is addiction, and not addiction of drugs or alcohol or gambling, you know, the sort of three main addictions that people get worried about becoming addicted to. We've fallen victim to a completely new being that you wouldn't expect, and that is social media. They purposefully make these apps and websites addictive so they get more views and more money from advertisers. I think the spell that Tristan alludes to is a spell that we don't realise that we've fallen under, and we've pretty much all fallen victim to it, and that is social media addiction, and I was absolutely horrified with myself when I realised that I'd become addicted to social media. And you think, how is that even possible? Because it's just an app, right? And I know there was quite a lot of talk a while ago about how Facebook handles our data and they keep our data, and I thought, well, I don't really care, because what are they going to do with it? But the thing is that they've created artificial intelligence to work kind of against us as the user or customer, consumer, to benefit advertisers who are, multi-million companies, to buy our attention. And one of the most chilling quotes in this documentary was, if you're not paying for the product, i.e. social media, then you are the product. And I was just completely dumbfounded with the fact that they were selling my time. I immediately picked up my phone, I looked horrified at it, and deleted all of the social media apps that I didn't need. So Facebook, I don't have Twitter, but I would have deleted that, Snapchat, Pinterest. What I found myself doing, and I know people watching this will completely understand what I mean, is you just pick up your phone and you look at it, open social media, for what purpose, I don't know, and you just flick through it mindlessly. And what they made connections to in this show were, Facebook is like a slot machine, and you don't know, when you refresh and pull it down, you don't know what you're going to get next. I think deleting the Facebook app and I deleted it about a week or two ago now, nearly 2 weeks. But what I found myself doing over the next 2 weeks was getting my phone out and looking at it and going to my social media folder and finding myself there and being like, Dawn, what are you doing? This moves on to my next point, which is our phones have become digital pacifiers. When Americans say pacifiers, they mean like dummies. Who hasn't fallen victim to it? You're sat in an awkward waiting room. I would feel a bit weird if I was sat in a waiting room not doing anything, which sounds really bizarre, but whenever we're in an uncomfortable position or uncomfortable situation, we get our pacifier out, and that acts as our kind of comfort blanket. There are times where a phone is really useful. If you're lost, you need it for maps. And social media has obviously brought us together. We can organise things a lot more easily. But if you can't sit and talk to people, interact with your surroundings and pay attention, or not do something for 5 minutes, then I think you need to reevaluate what's going on and whether you need to delete your social media apps on your phone too. But I've kind of brought my own spin on this one. So, is our psychological demise as humans, and mental health rates are increasing, we all know that. Is that because of our lifestyles now? Is that because of being better at diagnosing it? Or is it something else? And is it social media making us feel crap about ourselves? Alongside other things, of course, it's going to be multifactorial. Two of the things that they've mentioned is image distortion. We only see the positive parts of people's lives that they want to post on social media. We see them in a picture looking perfect, but that doesn't represent true reality, and I think that's known about. The second thing that's come up in recent times is fake news. They talked about it in the show, and they said fake news spreads 6 times faster than real news. And the problem is that artificial intelligence basically rules the show and decides what is going to show up on your newsfeed. And the problem is artificial intelligence doesn't know what is fake news and what isn't. The creators of social media are out of control of the thing that is running social media. I think what they've failed to touch on in the social dilemma was whether social media was actually that bad, because they did talk a bit about how phones have been used as a tool, and they have tried to make social media a good thing by introducing the like button. There are a few positives, but communicating with people that you don't usually speak to. But to be honest, I think there are other ways that you can connect with those people. There are other apps, you can message them, you can FaceTime them, and none of those apps use advertising and addictive properties to make money from you. And in my opinion, the world has always had a problem. There has always been something that has made the world seem like a bad place. And I think I get that from, I've literally just finished reading Anne Frank's diary. She talks about how, and this is in the 1940s, how she just can't believe how bad the world is. And obviously I'm comparing this to Holocaust, but it's not the same. But there have been periods of time long before now where there's been plenty of wars, there's been plenty of disagreements. Maybe we're just putting the blame on social media and saying that this is the problem and taking away the problem from us, because something else in our lives needs addressing. I guess what I'm trying to say in summary is there have always been problems. There has not always been social media, and there have always been humans. So is social media the problem, or are we the problem? But I guess what we also need to address in this is that Facebook doesn't need to make any more money. What's his name? Mark Wahlberg is that his name? I'll probably make sure I get that right. It's not even Mark Wahlberg. Mark Zuckerberg. God, that's embarrassing. Let's see how much he's worth. Let's Google it now. Christ. Net worth, US dollars, 92.9 billion US dollars. Does he need any more money? I really don't think he does. And I know it's not just him that's making the money, it's the advertisers as well. But in my opinion, ethically, they don't need to keep making social media addictive. So I also just think, like, do they not care about other humans? Because all they care about is making money. And if they have children themselves, do they not think about how their kids' mental health's going to be? And I think what was quite important is that all the people that have created social media don't let their kids on social media. They brought out a few really pertinent points, and some of them are out of our control of how we can fix this problem. Some of them are out of our control, and some of them are making laws around social media, and they're not out of our control. We can push for them. And should we be making a law for advertisers to, have a tax on our data, because they can own as much data on us as they want? So screen time is one of the things that you can do for yourself. And if you go onto your settings and then go on to screen time, if you have an iPhone, you can see here your daily, weekly usage and how much you're on your phone. Now, obviously, I've deleted Facebook, so it's not showing that data, unfortunately, but I'm sure it would be significantly more. And I'm averaging about, ignoring that week, 3.5 hours every day, which is quite a lot. So if you go back onto the screen time menu, you can go onto downtime, which stops notifications and allows you to have some time away from your phone at certain times of the day. This part is app limits. So if I still had Facebook installed, I could say I only want to spend 1 hour every day on Facebook, which, to be honest, is probably still too much. And there is also, I'm deleting it here because I don't have the Facebook app. There is also a section down here where you can set up your screen time for your family. I realised that I've been blabbering on for about 40 minutes, so I decided to cut the end of this video short, summarise the main points for you, and if you want to, you can go check out the show on Netflix, The Social Dilemma, and my blog post on diariesofadoctor.com. Thanks for watching.